I know y'all see what time it is. You're late for class. I don't want to hear anything about no juice party and you stayed up late last night. Listen, catch a bubble, sit down. It's time for class, and we have a lot to cover today. Today, we're diving into Supreme Court cases that shaped the civil rights movement. But first, let's set the stage. Imagine a world where everything from your water fountains to schools was divided by race, enforced by law. The civil rights movement wasn't just about marches and sit-ins, even though we were standing on big business. It was about changing the law to recognize Black Americans as full citizens. The goal? End legalized segregation, secure voting rights, and achieve equal protection, because separate but equal was never truly giving equal. Now let's talk about the Supreme Court cases that changed the game. Before Brown versus Board of Education, there was Plessy versus Ferguson, the case that set civil rights back for decades. Homer Plessy, who was 7/8 white and 1/8 Black, which shouldn't have mattered anyways, sat in a whites-only train car to challenge Louisiana's segregation laws. The Supreme Court upheld segregation, co-signing the infamous separate but equal doctrine. Essentially, as long as there was something for Black communities, no matter how inferior, it was equal. This decision gave legal backing to Jim Crow laws, keeping segregation in place for generations. Now, fast forward to 1954. Brown v. Board of Education said, no, we're not doing it like this anymore. The case combined 5 lawsuits from across the country and argued that segregation violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Thurgood Marshall and his team of legal heavyweights, including Constance Baker Motley, brought in sociologists and used the famous doll test to prove that segregation damaged Black children's self-worth. The Supreme Court unanimously ruled that separate education facilities are inherently unequal. This wasn't just about schools. It was the beginning of the end for legalized segregation across the U.S. But even after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed discrimination, some businesses thought they could still pick and choose who to serve. Enter Heart of Atlanta Motel versus United States. The motel's owner argued that the government couldn't force him to accommodate Black customers. The Supreme Court disagreed, ruling that businesses engaged in interstate commerce had to follow federal anti-discrimination laws. In translation, if you're open for business, you're open to everyone. Now let's talk Loving v. Virginia, the case that proves love isn't always Black or white. Many southern states had anti-miscegenation laws banning interracial marriage. The government didn't think these laws were discriminatory since they didn't just apply to Black people, they punished white people too. Mildred and Richard Loving, an interracial couple, were arrested in their own home just for being married. The Supreme Court ruled that these laws violated the Equal Protection Clause, reinforcing the right to marry regardless of race. Their case is still cited today when discussing marriage rights and equality. Before Black families could legally integrate neighborhoods, they faced restrictive covenants, agreements that prohibited selling homes to Black buyers. Shelley v. Kraemer ruled that while private individuals could write these contracts, the government couldn't enforce them. A victory, yes, but redlining and housing discrimination didn't disappear overnight, and its effects still linger today. These cases weren't just legal battles. They were fights for the fundamental right to exist, learn, love, and thrive without discrimination. So, what do y'all think? Is the fight for civil rights over, or are there still more legal battles to be won? What issues would you like to see the Supreme Court take up? Let me know in the comments. And as always, like, share, and follow for more. Class is in session every week, but let's try to be on time next week.